Hello. Let's start. I hate myself. I say I hate myself, but that's not necessarily true. I don't hate who I currently am. I understand what has made me who I am. What I hate is who I have become. If I could describe myself, I describe myself as lazy. Very lazy. There was a period of my life where several of my grandparents passed away. It felt like it was just one after another, but it was probably just my memory over-exaggerating things. My inability to properly deal with that stress caused me to be lazy. My laziness was not just the normal laziness, but also an excuse I used to avoid any sort of responsibility. I did what was easy, lazing around all the time, playing games and whatnot. During this time, my growth as a person was stunted a lot. Eventually, I ran out of grandparents. And now before you think I'm a cold, heartless person, I would like to say that I love my grandparents very much. But I'm just a tad annoyed by their timing. Nevertheless, eventually got my mental and emotional reprieve, allowing me to get my head on straight, though some would say otherwise. Junior year, I was lucky to get robotics as one of my classes, and I attributed the class to most of my mental growth during that year. The class itself was quite interesting, with a large portion of the year focused on an FTC competition. You know, robot stuff, hitting things with hammers, wiring things, etc. But what made the class really interesting were the other students. I tried to describe my classmates. I would describe them as those car guys. I say this because you could always hear them talking about cars, trucks, off-roading in those cars and trucks, making strange modifications to those cars and trucks, or something like that. I don't really know. I know nothing about cars, really. When we were designing our robot, sometimes I felt like we were trying to create a robot that instead of trying to create a robot that can complete certain tasks, we were trying to create a car. As cool as suspension sounds, it's not really necessary for a robot that's going to be driven over flat ground. Needless to say, the class was a little chaotic, but quite fun. In the end, we created a janky robot that somewhat worked. It could have been much better, but I learned in that class that the things I learned in that class were much more important than succeeding in the competition. Not all those lessons were necessarily about electricity or mechanics, but they're still good ones. One of the things I personally learned in that class was the value of approaching a problem with the correct train of thought. Like anything, proper form and flexibility is important, even in thoughts, as weird as that sounds. When we approach a problem, we generally have a list of questions that we run through in order to find our answer. I think a correct train of thought is knowing which questions to ask first, or what questions to ask to find the question necessary to find the solution of the answer. I believe that learning is just this. Either we learn how to question things better and more efficiently, or we gather more information so we're able to answer a larger range of questions. I think this can be applied to something straightforward like a math problem, or to something more vague such as everyday life. Another thing I learned was how much I disliked certain aspects of myself. I hated my procrastination, as I finished my draft on Tuesday. I hate my social ineptitude. I hate how impulsive I can be, and I could go on. I hate so many aspects of myself, but I don't hate the person I am now. There isn't a reason to. Oftentimes, we focus on things we've done in the past and get stuck there. I can't change who I've been in the past, but I can make an effort to change who I'm going to be. I think this is what makes prospects of the future so appealing, yet so absolutely terrifying. Anything can happen, the question is, what will? Thank you. Almost forgot my shout-outs. To my friends, I know I can be annoying at times, so thank you for tolerating me. To my teachers, I know I fall asleep time to time in classes, but I really learned a lot here, so I'm really thankful for that. And to my parents, I know I can be quite a handful most of the time, so thank you for dealing with me unconditionally. Thank you.